Welcome, friends, to the 7th edition of CommSessions. Today, with the topic how to use better the social media to share the gospel. Now we have several invitees from the Inter-American Division Unions, as well as from the headquarters and from Adventist World Radio. First of all, we have Saúl Tortosa, an expert in the topic. He will talk about how to use Twitter and Instagram. He sends his participation from the East Venezuela Union. We will have 10 practical ideas, simple, that we can always use dynamically, exposed by Keila Trejo from the Inter-American Division and from the North Columbia Union, Hope Media. Then we will have Edward Smith. He is a pastor from Guatemala who lives in Belize. So from Belize, he sends the video explaining and showing some experiences, some tips how to use Facebook better to share the gospel. And finally, we will have Luis Duran. Luis Duran is participating in a very special program that is being implemented from Adventist World Radio and Inter-America using WhatsApp, that social media that facilitates sending messages, but also segments of sermons to be able to reach more people. We will listen to these different talks in the 7th session of CommSessions. The most important thing about the use of the social media is how we begin. We're going to talk about Instagram and Twitter, the importance of these social media. Instagram offers a very low platform. Instagram is more complex. It has more video and more images. Twitter, for example, we have to segment the messages. But what is the most important thing is not to be afraid. These social media are not going to eat us up. It's just a form that we can take our message to a greater public. If we can take the message to 1-2 people, to our friends, to the person beside us, when we start using the social media, this message is going to expand to many other people. How can we make this message be more effective? For the message to be effective, we have to be clear what we want to transmit in these social media. This is very important, because when we understand what is it we want to share in the social media, the message will be more explicit and more specific. We have to measure how we are transmitting that message. At the moment we determine what message we are going to tweet out, we have to establish a date. The first tweet will be tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning. This will allow me to overcome the fright. It just remind me that tomorrow at 9 o'clock I will have to share this tweet, and I can also share later that image. This will give me a sense of the parameters and start losing that fright. I would like you to invite you today to reach these objectives. Make it a short ahead. In a week, for example, don't take a month. This will allow you to establish your form and lose your fright. The important thing about these social media is Instagram, for example, uses a lot of media, more images and so on, where we have to take a selfie and share a message. There are many tools that we can take from our apps, very simple, very economical. Some of them are free, others are very easy to handle. These tools will allow us to take the selfie, put a text on the image, and it'll be more accessible and more easy to share. When we have these images, we can go to the Twitter. Twitter, we can make we can share more immediate to the moment. This will make it clear. The same things we can share in Twitter. I'd like to make 7 attempts, and in Instagram 2, maximum 3. That's going to be a lot. But the logistics of this whole thing, we have to establish parameters. Let's do a very basic exam. I am Pastor so-and-so. I want to share an activity. So what are we going to use Twitter for? We're going to use Twitter to review the activity. Today we're going to be doing such a thing. Tomorrow we're going to do such a thing. We're going to collect so-and-so. We are planning and so on for the activity. If we go back to Instagram, we can make a live transmission. We share the video with behind-the-scene activities. And when the activity is on live, for example, we can take a live and share with the people that were not able to attend that activity. So what does that allow for us? It allows for that message that we want to share be more effective for so many other people. We have to measure the reach of this message. In most of the social media, there are metrics, number of people that are watching us, number of people that are following, who do we follow, and so on. This is very important because we have to keep an equilibrium. We have to understand if that message is really reaching our objective. We have to understand who our ideal niche would be, that person that we want to reach. What public are we attacking? When we have the message very clear, we have to establish the objective, and we'll be understanding what niche we are trying to reach. In Twitter, for example, we establish daily publications. This is done on Sundays and Mondays and so on. We could plan for the week, so many tweets on Monday and Wednesday and Friday and so on, so that we can plan. After we have that planification, next Monday, for example, we can start on Mondays. We can establish if I achieved those objectives for that past week. And then we can do the same thing in Instagram. But remember that in Instagram, images are very important. So we have to follow, search for these tools in the media, which are simple and free, will give us more tools that we can communicate with. After that, we have to understand the parameters of the communication. Which are the parameters? Remember, the objectives have to be measurable, specific, and reachable. We have to specify which is the message we want to place. In the plan that we do for the week, we have to establish our objectives, what the message is that we're going to use. Make a concordance, make these accord with the objective and the messages. This will allow us, help us know that the message that we are transmitting through these social media will reach the public. Relevance. For your message to be relevant, you have to have very clear what you want to say. Your message should have a purpose. Remember that the social media is just a means to communicate and not an end in themselves. If you take this into account, your publications will be relevant for those that follow you. Audience. If you know what you're going to say, now you should decide how you're going to say it. And for this, you have to keep in mind who you're going to direct it to and in which media you're going to publish it. In Facebook, you have to keep a social tone, caring for the institution and for the publications. In Instagram, you have to be original and genuine. In Twitter, you have to be to the point, subjective. This means to apply a personal filter to your publications. This is something that you like to see when I'm in this social media. Would I share this with my family and friends? If it's so, you're in a good way. Quality. Before thinking about many publications, think about having good videos, good audio, good images, and relevant text. Better few and well done. Better simple than ridiculous. Better basic with harmony. Style. Your followers should be able to follow you without entering into your profile. For this, follow the visual identification of your institution. Keep your formats similar. Use 2 or 3 colors, those that identify you. In Instagram, use the same color filters for all your pictures. Scandals on Facebook, like what happened in 2018 through Cambridge Analytics, have created a loss of confidence from the people. But with 220 million users, active users a month, their statistics continue to grow. According to the studies, 43% of the announcements are women and 57% are for men. 35% are under 25 years and more than 90% access through mobile devices. All of these statistics tell us how we can continue using Facebook to reach many people with a message of hope. The request of many people is, how can you give us idea and give us some tools that we can have a ministry in Facebook? First of all, I would like you to define an objective for your ministry. If you need to, if this is difficult for you, answer the following questions. First, who am I? What am I looking for? What do I like to do? The third. The fourth question, why do I want to do it? And the fifth question, for whom do I want to do it? There are many people that do not have a special objective, and they publish on tools and movies and films and many content without sense and many untruth. But if you want to reach a lot of people, you have to define your objective. When you have the answers to these questions, then you can work with one of the 3 groups: personal, group, or private, or secret. But if you have a personal profile with a lot of people, it's get a lot of friends. Under your profile picture, you'll see a window. What are you thinking about? It's a question. If you click on that question, you'll open another window, and if you can add text, or you can add publish. If you want to publish other type of content, just look at the options behind. Just under that little page, photos, sentiments, gifts, lists, and so on. There are many options. Many people travel and share their places where they visited, but that's good. But why not make a special description of the place and how that has made you come closer to God? And your pictures will be more than a privilege, but a way to share the message. But the personal profile should be interaction from person to person. But there are 3 groups. There are 3: public groups, private groups, and secret groups. Why should you create a public? Because it helps you have a greater communication with your objective, and you can answer questions, have requests, and that will help you in the future. But the one thing I would say is write just once a day at the most, so that it won't be tiresome. But if you are a public figure, like a church, an institution, you should create a particular page for your profile. Now listen to these 7 groups. Keep in touch with the public that listens to your content. The message is very important. You have to analyze other pages, get the best things from them, create your content, speak about your ministry, and so on. Everything that helps to the opinion. For a third, don't forget the images. The visual images are very key and very important to grow. Create your own style, your own interaction with your principles. Number 4, generate dialogues. Walls are good to send out questions. Number 5, establish a periodicity, a periodical way of publishing. What day of the week, what time, and you can personalize your publications. 6, publish from Facebook. They like to be published from their own forms. Upload videos from Facebook. You will get more visibility because you will get more content. When you let out a publication, let it grow on its own. Let it create its own traffic. In my first hand experience, I have a fan page, I have very clear. I've seen a video come to 120 shares. Another thing is creating a live program in different pages, like the 10 days of prayer with questions, and these were reproduced in Honduras, in Belize, Costa Rica, and it was a live production in live, and they published them in their own pages. They had more than 1,000 views per day. Well, another thing is that will make your ministry grow is to have perseverance. You have to love God above Facebook. You have to give more time to God than to Facebook. Don't use words that dishonor God. Write words that edify. Read the Bible more than the time you were given to Facebook. When God is the first in your life, He will give you great ideas and content that will enrich your ministry. I wish the best in your ministry. May God continue blessing you greatly. Adventist World Radio is a department of the General Conference that is in charge of preaching the gospel of Jesus throughout the world without any barriers, without any frontiers, without limits. Adventist World Radio is not only preaching the gospel through the radio, but it also utilizes different ways and technologies to reach the world for Jesus. One of these initiatives is the plan of digital evangelism through different digital platforms. One of them, for example, is the WhatsApp platform, where 2 men in South Africa were impressed by the Lord that they would be able to reach many friends, many relatives with the gospel of salvation. These men decided to take particular topics from the Bible, record them in their own language, and share them with their friends. Today, more than 160,000 people are listening to the gospel of Jesus. We are seeing in many different parts of the world extraordinary miracles, how God is using these media to reach many, many hearts. Now we have these audios in many languages like Japanese, Filipino, and other languages that will be adding to this extraordinary plan. Thank God, the administration of the Inter-American Division with the Adventist World Radio team is taking the decision to launch this project in this huge territory, so that together we may move forward in the proclamation of the gospel. Why is it so important, this digital message? Why is it so imperative and necessary that together we may continue forward in this direction? The last few statistics say that we are more than 7,500 million inhabitants, and more than half of the population of the world is connected online. 2/3 of the world population have a cell phone. This means that there is a huge world, a huge field that we can reach so many people with a message of salvation. The world is connected, so we need to double our efforts. We need to redo our steps so that our friends, our relatives, our neighbors, and many would be able to know about Jesus' grace. We are having wonderful testimonies from Mexico, for example, where we have already began preparing the churches, the health institutions, the educational institutions, and the first results. There are many people listening with a great disposition, this gospel of Jesus. So what benefit does this bring to the church? We are promoting that every person, every brethren would invite friends, relatives, close people to them, and ask them if they are interested in listening to hope messages for their lives. If we do this with dedication and with prayer, the Lord will shower His power, and we're going to see His glory shown among us. Adventist World Radio, with the Inter-American Division, through the radio stations, through the production media, through the health institutions, through the educational institutions, we want to form one full team and move forward, understanding that Jesus is coming soon. The Lord is coming soon, and He wants us to double up His church and use all the available means to reach those that we love, so that we may soon be with Jesus for all eternity. Jesus is coming soon. That is the reason of our existence. Jesus is coming soon. That is the reason of our mission. Jesus is coming soon. You are the reason for His coming.